Hey everybody, Jeff Schneider here. No, this is not a Rickroll. In this episode, I'm going to be breaking down Rick Astley's Whenever You Need Somebody. It's one of his lesser known tunes, at least not as well known as Never Gonna Give You Up, or of course, what's that other one called? Together Forever. Let's face it, he's got a lot of great hits. But we're going to break down Whenever You Need Somebody. It's got some really cool key changes, some secondary dominant chords, modal mixture, all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's really worth checking out and seeing what we can learn from it. Now I'm going to talk about all that harmonic goodness in just a second. But first, I want to tell you something that you might not know about me. I have interests in things other than music. I've talked a little bit in the past about how I'm into marketing and entrepreneurship, but I also have some other random interests like drawing and handwriting, which I'm terrible at both, but I can compensate for that lack of talent with the help of Skillshare. If you haven't heard about Skillshare, it's an online learning community with thousands of classes in design, business, tech, and more. And it's subscription-based, so you pay a monthly or an annual fee and you get access to all the different classes, which is a great model. And since you're watching this video, there's a good chance you like learning, which is why you will love Skillshare. So go check out the link down below. The first 500 people that click will get 2 months of Skillshare for free. So go take advantage of that deal. Okay, let's get into it. Here is Rick Astley's Whenever You Need Somebody. So as I said, this song changes key a couple times. We're going to start in the key of E flat major, but we're going to start on a B flat sus chord, which is the 5 chord in E flat major. All right, so we have this A flat over B flat, which is basically B flat sus. And we'll include the major 7 on there as well of the A flat major 7. But again, I'm going to call this B flat sus. To be more accurate, it would be called B flat 13 sus, this G being the 13. So for the intro, we're going to start with that B flat sus and then resolve it into a B flat major. By the way, this is the same chord progression for the chorus, so we're going to use it again in just a minute. But we're going to go B flat sus, B flat major, repeat. And then we do another sus. This time it's going to be C7 sus, resolving to C7. Now, what is this chord? C7 is not in the key of E flat major. Remember, that's sort of the key center that we're living in right now. But a C7 doesn't fit. Why? Well, we have an E natural in it for one, and we're in the key of E flat, so E and E flat don't mix. But the reason for this C7 is that we're playing the secondary dominant chord here. This is the 5 of 2. C7 is the 5 of the 2 chord, the 2 chord being F minor. The funny thing is that we're not even going to go to the F minor. We're actually going to go right back to that 5 chord again. But here's one note I do want to make. Even though we're not going to F minor, that B flat sus chord kind of fills the function of an F minor. I mean, look at the notes. Right, if I add the F in there, even though we have a B flat in the bass, if we take that out, we have F minor. So that makes a lot of sense now when we have the C7, because it would resolve really nicely to the F minor, and we're basically doing that except putting a B flat in the bass. By the way, if you haven't seen the music video for this song, you have got to go check it out. It is amazing. There are so many good moments. I mean, too many to count, but I'll show a couple here.
So we start here with a wink at the camera, an awkward fall. Here is not a single, but a double sunglass tilt, and of course, a pouty face with a million bracelets.
Okay, so to get out of the intro and into the first verse, we're going to do our first key change. So instead of doing that C sus to C7 thing again, we're going to go to F sharp sus, which really comes out of nowhere. And then we're going to resolve to F sharp major. So essentially what we're doing here is setting up the new key, which is actually going to be B. So we modulated down a major third from where we started. We were in E flat major, and now we're going to B. That's a little bit unusual. That's really unusual for a pop tune. This is something you would hear in a jazz tune, a jazz standard maybe, and certainly more modern jazz. This is 1987, people. This is crazy stuff. So we're going to the key of B major. And to do that, we are doing this. We're setting it up with the F sharp 7 sus, followed by the F sharp. And then, instead of going to the 1 chord, B, we're just going to hang on that F sharp sus again. Okay, I'm going to sing it a little bit just so you can get some context here and hear what it sounds like. Pardon the vocals. I've been stood up, messed around, and taken for a fool. Okay, so the next part we're going to go to B minor. I'm going to play a B minor 9 voicing here. and then going to E7. Okay, all together. I've been stood up, messed around, and taken for a fool, but next time round, I'm gonna change the rules. Okay, from there we're gonna repeat. And I don't care about the things that people say. It's you I think about each and every day. Okay, from there, we're gonna go to another, actually, this is very similar to what happens in the chorus. We're gonna do a secondary dominant chord going to the 2. Actually, before we do that, I do wanna talk about the whole B major, B minor thing. I think this verse is B major, just doesn't feel like the key center here is B minor, but we do go to a B minor chord. We're borrowing from the B minor scale, and actually that E7 chord is also borrowed from B minor. That E7 chord doesn't naturally exist within B major. Now, normally the 4 chord in the key of B major is E major 7, but we're gonna borrow from the B Dorian scale and get E dominant 7, so that's where that E7 chord comes from. So as I said, next up, we're gonna do another secondary dominant chord. This is gonna be the 5 of 2. We're gonna go to a G sharp 7 chord and then resolve that to C sharp minor 9. Now this C sharp minor 9 is a true 2 chord in the key of B major here. And with the vocals, it sounds like this. It's much too late for you to change your ways. I can't keep holding on, expecting you to stay. And we go to F sharp 7 here. This is sort of the 5 of the, well, it's just a regular 5 chord actually. 5 of the 1 chord. And then we're gonna go back to our original F sharp sus. When you're all alone and if you're feeling down, call me, I'll be around. Okay, so here I'm on an E13 sus. These sus chords are so powerful for key changes. So if there's any takeaway from this tune, it's that the sus chord is a great way to get into a new key. We're actually gonna take this E sus chord and go up a half step, and now we're on E flat sus, or rather F sus, and this is what's gonna launch us back into the chorus. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, but it works so well. And that's why I think this tune is so cool for, the late 80s. It just does some really interesting harmonic things. We already talked about the chord progression for the intro, which as I said is the same for the chorus. So see if you can follow along with all of this here, and I'll take it from the top of the verse. I've been stood up, messed around, and taken for a fool, but next time round, I'm gonna change the rules. And I don't care about the things that people say. It's you I think about each and every day. It's much too late for you to change your ways. I can't keep holding on, expecting you to stay. When you're all alone and if you're feeling down, call me, I'll be around. Whenever you need somebody, I'll bring my love to you. You don't have to say you love me, I just wanna be with you. And then it goes to the second verse, but that's pretty much the whole tune. There's a little variation in the bridge, but just kind of does that over and over and over again. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. I think the key change mechanism with the sus chords is a really big takeaway, so you can always go to the 5 chord of whatever the new key is and just make that 5 chord a big sus, or a sus 13, or 13 sus rather, and you can get a really nice slick transition that way. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. And if you have any ideas for tunes that I could analyze in the future, comment below. I'd love to see your suggestions. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.